went home a little bit earlier because I received a meeting that's gonna go into like the later evening. So I didn't want to have to drive back home later and then probably not get any parking space. I have like another 2 hours probably now of work left, but most of my colleagues right now are on an on-site workshop, so it's a little bit more chill. At least now I don't have any meetings for like the next hour. Today was a little bit chaotic because the office was unnecessarily full for a Monday, so usually I would talk a little bit more, but we're gonna do that now. Also, as always, welcome. I'm very glad that you're here. My name is Hannah, I'm 26 and I work in consulting. If you're interested in that, you might want to subscribe. Just a suggestion. And honestly, I haven't filmed in quite some time, so it's kind of weird right now to get back into it. Last time was almost a month ago now, and I talked a lot about how I was in a depressive slump by that time and I had a lot of anxiety. And I went on vacation and now I'm definitely feeling better. Not like the best, like I feel like I'm not at my full capacity, but I definitely feel better than before. And honestly, my vacation was so great. I was initially considering whether I want to film something there, but then I decided I wouldn't. And I just took some pictures and some videos of the place there and the scenery. And we went to a very, very nice hotel in a warmer area and it was great. And at some point I had this very content feeling of like a nice type of boredom. And when I reached this state, I was actually so happy and so relaxed. So that was a very good experience. As I mentioned already like several times in different videos, I have an anxiety disorder and I especially have issues with everything concerning health, travel, people. So going to like a new place, into a hotel where I will be surrounded by a bunch of people all the time was definitely challenging, and it took like 2 days for me to actually acclimatize to the whole situation. But after that happened, yeah, it was very great. It was such a good decision also to do this type of vacation. Yeah, now I'm back. This is my first full week of working again. I came back last Wednesday, I think. So yeah, I'm still kind of getting into it, and yeah, I'm gonna continue working now, and yeah, we'll talk later. Thanks for joining. I just can't get out of bed. And I also don't want to. Every morning I think, yeah, I'm gonna get out of bed once my alarm hits. And then I'm gonna do something productive for myself. But that usually doesn't really happen. I don't even know what's like the big issue for me right now. Now it's 8. I wanted to start at 8. I'm not gonna be able to do that because I'm also super hungry and I have to make some food before. My desk is a mess, so I have to clean it up first. New goal is start at 8:30 then. That's fine as well. Yesterday after work, I was so hungry. I don't even know what was up, but I was starving by the time I finished work. And I wanted to go and just get like a soup for takeaway. And I arrived at the restaurant and I felt like I had a hole in my stomach. So I just stayed there and ate. I mean, you know already that I'm kind of tired all the time at the moment. And it got better in my vacation, but now that I'm back working, it's kind of the same again. So I usually go to bed at like 9:30, which is okay, but like it would be better if I would also then kind of get up at like 6 to 6:30, which I don't. I just don't want to like sleep away most of my time, you know? It's just kind of how it feels like right now. Okay, let's make some breakfast before I starve to death, because we really don't want that. I need to get like, can you see me? I need to get one of those really tiny pans for just one egg. My friend had one and she she took it with her on vacation. This might actually be a good thing because I feel like that's so much easier to clean than like a whole ass pan, you know? Like this is the smallest I have. just get started here. It's only 8:15 by the way, so I'm earlier than I thought. And as always, I'm gonna take like 10 minutes to organize myself and then really get going with whatever we have to do. My first meeting is, I think, at 9:30, so I have a lot of time to just work on things. My login for my client network is actually not working. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I have to call my colleague about that. I had a rather productive lunch break so far. I went and got myself ready because I have the viewing later and afterwards I'm meeting a friend. And I also just cleaned up a little bit here and went for a little walk because it's very good weather. Now I'm just gonna heat up some lunch. I have those small stews, so I'm gonna make one of those and probably just another bread or something. I'm super excited for the apartment and I really don't want to jinx it, but I feel like this could be it. Also, it's way better priced than the last one I was very into, so I would definitely miss this area here. It's a very good and calm area. There's like a lot of cafes and stuff, but this whole mold issue just threw me off so much. I just don't feel very comfortable here anymore. This is like elevated pea stew. And I would say that pea stew is like a very common food in Germany. That's kind of what I imagine when in like a fantasy book they go to an inn and they get served like a warm hearty stew. That's kind of that. I just added some fresh green onion, sesame, pepper and some bread to dip. So let's get back to work and eat. It's currently 9 a.m. on a Wednesday and I've been up since 6 because I went to the gym very early this time. I was there at 6:30 probably because now that I have my bike I can actually go very, very fast. And I had to wash my hair, so I had to be very, very early. And yeah, now I'm ready to work after having breakfast. I'm still having issues getting into the client network, so I don't really know how we're gonna solve that, and it has to be solved like today if possible. But yeah, we're gonna figure that out later. The viewing yesterday was very nice. The apartment is super, super cute. The only thing is that it's quite small and like smaller than I anticipated. And I don't have anything against a smaller apartment if the layout is nice, and the layout there is very nice. It has an open living and kitchen space and then one separate bedroom. The issue is just that we're not sure whether the couch will be fitting into the living room, and I don't want to part with the couch. I'm okay with getting a smaller desk. I'm also okay with leaving behind our table in the kitchen and like finding something smaller. That's totally okay, but I don't want to leave the couch. So I hope they can give us like the measurements for the apartment. I asked for them and then we can figure out whether it would fit or not. And this would probably decide whether we could take it or not. I mean, it's not that they offered it yet to us. Like, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but if they would, we need to figure out whether the couch can come. I actually went there with my bike, which was kind of far, but it was also nice to be outside and get some movement in. Then I met a friend in the evening who I haven't seen for like over half a year because they were gone abroad, and now I'm ready to do something if I could, but as of now I can't. Right now is my lunch break and I'm just gonna dedicate like a few minutes on finishing up my next video because today is Wednesday. So that means I kind of have to upload today. I want to, obviously. I want to adhere to my schedule. So I'm just gonna do that for a few minutes and then warm up lunch and probably like go for a walk as I usually do during my lunch break.
Sanddorn Spritz mit extra Vitamin C.
Maybe I'll change. I think I'll change. Sorry. Okay, so I was on like the right track because I knew I wanted pink, but I didn't know which pink. And now I know. I literally just wanted to open up my laptop and check for some things. And of course, my colleague had to call me and we just talked for like almost half an hour, and now my expected morning routine is kind of different. I was actually planning to do some stretching because I went to a gym yesterday and then just have breakfast, but now everything is kind of rushed. So I'm probably just gonna make the same breakfast that I had the last few days and get started with work and then maybe stretch during my lunch break, maybe not, let's see. But at least we already have a plan for what we have to do today and in what order, and I really like that, so I can just get started. I was actually considering this morning whether I might want to go to the office, but as always, I couldn't get out of bed at all. And I think I stayed in bed until like 7:40. I've been to the office only once this week, which is okay, but I'm kind of like a little bit bored right now at home. I have a bunch of meetings during the whole day today, so it wouldn't make sense to go to the office. Yeah, that's actually something that I really don't enjoy right now, that I just cannot get out of bed. Because yesterday when I went to the gym, I got up at 6 and I was able to get up way better than when I tried to get up at 7. Maybe it's also like the sleep rhythm or something, and it was like a good time to wake up, and I also really had to pee. Maybe I should just try and get up at like 6:30 instead and see how it goes, and even if I like snooze for half an hour, I will be up at 7. There was this colleague I had for some time who had their first meeting at 9 and would get up at 8:55 and just roll out of bed and get to the desk. And like even half an hour before work is kind of actually not enough for me. And there was a time where before I worked, especially as a working student, but also during an internship, where I had like at least an hour before work where I could just focus on myself, you know, and I was still journaling and stretching every day, maybe not every day, but a lot of times. And if I work for like 8 hours and afterwards I'm meeting people or I have to clean up here, then I should somewhere during the day have some time for myself, I think. Today I finally got up earlier than the days before. It's not even that I didn't get up early at all during this week. I've went to the gym and I went to the gym and I went to the office. So on both days I got up at 6. But it's still kind of good to get up earlier even if I don't have to go anywhere, because now it's 8:30. I started working 15 minutes ago, and before that I was able to stretch. I already had breakfast, I had my coffee, I got ready, I put on some clothes, so that actually feels very, very good. I'm gonna start now because I want to leave on time, and I did some overtime this week. Today is very, very good weather, so I don't want to stay at my desk any longer than I have to.